Hello and welcome live from Spa-Francorchamps for the finale of the GT3 challenge. Yes, it has been announced that we're going to say goodbye to these Porsche's GT3 specs, because next season, which will start actually May the 13th, we're going to race with the Porsche Cup car, which means the calendar will look like a little bit like the Mobil 1 Porsche Super Cup. So yes, the season will start at Imola, then we'll go to Barcelona. Round 3 will be held at the Red Bull Ring, and then we'll come back to Spa-Francorchamps. Then round number 5 will be held at the Hungaroring, and the finale will be held at Zandvoort. And that will be held at the August 26th. That means that will be the finale. But let's go back to the present, because we still have a last race to do with these Porsche GT3s, or actually 2 races to be exact. And we still, of course, have to crown a champion. So let's see what the current championship standings look like. And if I'm having it correctly, indeed, of course, we had Daytona, the 1 hour race at Daytona. Which means it's still Nico Schiffer who is first in the championship with a total of 282 points. Behind him it's Kai Schubert with a total of 271 points. And behind there it's Roy Castine with a 258 points. Eddie Carles on 4th position in the championship standing with a total of 243 points. And behind him, only 1 point minus, it's Julian Sorvelo with 242 points. 1 point behind him, it's Kim de Korte on 6th position in the champion standings with a total of 241 points. And after that, if we look further down the road, it's Roel van der Zand on the 7th position with 227 points. And Nick de Schouw on 8th position with 225 points. Behind them, it's 9th position for Brian Benarens with 223 points. And the 10th position currently in the championship standings, it's Ewout van Kruijsen with a 220 points. So yes, that's what we're going to have. Of course, we're going to crown a champion tonight. And I think it's going to be an exciting race here at Spa-Francorchamps. We can see it's a little bit cloudy. So I'm curious what the weather's going to do like. Let's see if we can have some live imaging here from the circuit. Of course, it's a very excited circuit, Spa-Francorchamps. We've been here many times now, but it's an excited circuit to drive on, absolutely. As we see here now, the live imaging. Just a couple of minutes ago before we're heading out to qualifying, which will be, of course, a qualifying of 20 minutes. And after that, we'll see who will have the pole position. As we have here Last Sol, who's actually going to press escape, I think. Yes, indeed, Sol is going to do that. So we'll head off to Remco Kooi. Let's see how Remco Kooi is going to do it when we are, of course, now on board with Remco Kooi. Also, Remco Kooi is going to the pit lane, because everybody's getting ready for the qualifying, which is going to be a very exciting but also a very important qualifying. Yes, Spa-Francorchamps is a circuit where you can overtake. Slipstream is going to be very important here. Let's see what's going to happen. We're going to wait for the qualifying. As I said, the also important qualifying here at Spa-Francorchamps. Right now it's 18 degrees Celsius outside temperature. It's cloudy and a light breeze, so that's a good thing also for the drivers as we're getting ready for the qualifying, which is going to be held now. And here we go, everybody is now going out of the pit lane, ready for the qualifying. As I said, it's going to be a 20 minutes. And if you watch our broadcast, then you know it's not going to be a quiet qualifying also, but it's not going to be a private qualifying, I meant to say. And let's see what's going to happen as we are here with Ewout van Kruijsen. We also see here the weather, still 90 degrees Celsius, cloudy, and a track temperature of 27 degrees, which means ideal temperatures for qualifying. Let's see what's going to happen. Yes, we are on board with Spa-Francorchamps. And we also see La Sol in Porsche number 7. Who's in front of this pack. It's La Sol in front and the 16. That's Lucas Stiefelhagen. And behind Stiefelhagen it was Ewald van Kruisen. And behind van Kruisen, I can't quite see who that is. I think it's Roel van der Zand. Yes, it's Roel van der Zand. As he drives slowly but steady going to the start-finish to start their qualifying lap. And oh, watch it, watch it. Almost a little tap between teammates. And here we go for the qualifying laps. As we're getting on board now with Roel van der Zand. Through a Rouge, then on the top of Radion. And then on his way to Camel Straight. Staying in the slipstream of his teammate, that's a good idea actually to do. Spa-Francorchamps is a circuit where you can do this. Except when you're in the second sector, the middle part of the circuit. You do need a little bit downforce, whatever these cars can provide. Here we are again. Right now purple sector times for Lucas Stiefelhagen, but it's already green, which means somebody is going faster. That's Nick de Show, and the 36 went a little bit off track there. No biggies. No big issues. De Show cleaning off his tires now. Still in his in lap. Go out of his way. That's a little bit too much out of his way, but okay. Let's focus now on Lucas Stiefelhagen. Setting purple lap times right now. Sector times, that's what I meant to say. Purple sector times for Lucas Stiefelhagen. As he is making his way to the bus stop chicane. Let's see what Stiefelhagen can do. Flashing lights now. That's the 7 of Sol. Stiefelhagen also has some slipstream. And here we'll have the first lap times. It's a 2:17.943 for Lucas Stiefelhagen. Roel van der Zand with the 2:18.7 and also Eddie Gales with the 2:18.3. Let's see what's going to happen. One driver we've seen the grey, that's myself. Unfortunately, we have some issues with spectators, so I had to join the server as a driver. But of course, I'm not going to drive. I'm going to do the commentary, which, in my opinion, is the most beautiful thing to do with racing or with sim racing. Kai Schubert now, 2:17.636, and Nico Schiffer, a 10th behind Schubert right now. Here we see Schiffer in the black Porsche number 5. And Kai Schubert behind. Here's Kai Schubert in the, let's say, Porsche livery. Famously by the Porsche 911 RSR. The GTE spec of those Porsches. And oh, that was very close. between that was Schiffer and the number 3. And number 3 belongs to Robert van Hoorn. Where is Schubert? There's Schubert. Of course, the thing with this circuit is it's quite a long circuit, so you will not have that many times for doing a qualifying lap. As we can see, because we're almost at the 7th minute now. Almost at the halfway point already. As Last Soul has a green, yellow, green. What's going to be for Last Soul? Into the final couple of corners. Only start finish to go. It's going to be, I think, a 220 or 219. What is going to be Last Soul in? It's going to be 218 actually. 218.719. Roy Castine goes to P3 in a 173.937. Let's see what Guy Schubert can do. It was yellow, then it was green. So let's see. On to start finish. Is he going to improve his time? Yes, he does. It's a 217.599. Where is Schiffer? There is Schiffer. As we can see here, Daan van Zutphen with the purple second sector. Van Zutphen is going to attack the pole time. Is he going to take P1? 217.5, that's what he needs to do. Daan van Zutphen. Start finish now. It's a 2. Let's see. Still have to wait. Oh no, he did not make a lap time. Did he went wide somewhere then? That's very weird. No lap time actually for Daan van Zutphen. He was very quick. Roy Castine also in his outlap now. A couple of drivers who did not make their lap time as of yet. Ewout van Kruijsen, Ross Young, Daan van Zutphen and Nick de Show all still needs to set their lap times. As I said, Dennis Wierega, that's me. I'm going to do the commentary, I'm not going to race. As we go back with Nico Schiffer. Here we have the chopper cam. Well, let's see what Schiffer can do. Not yet in the timing. We see Kim de Korte, Roy Castine, Yuri Verswijveren. Remco Kooi also sets green lap times, right, some final sector times. And there we have Schubert, and it's all yellow. As he's going back to start finish. To finish this lap. Let's see what's going to be. It's a 221. Schiffer, I think it was his out lap. As we go back to Daan van Zutphen. Top 5 exists right now of Kai Schubert, Nico Schiffer, Roy Castine, Lucas Stiefelhagen and Tavera Winter. As Daan van Zutphen finishes lap in a 275.99 and he does in a 218.362. We have Kai Schubert also in an out lap. And here is Nico Schiffer again. Schiffer going a little bit wide. As we see here, Remco Kooi, something happened with Remco Kooi. Ooh, goes a little bit too wide there. And that's how you lose a lap time. As we're over the halfway point now of this qualifying. Right now, Guy Schubert with the 2:17.599. The Nico Schiffer, who we're watching now, wants to do everything to get the pole position. Same could be said by Lucas Stievelhagen. Stievelhagen also wants to get, of course, the pole position. Let's see what Stievelhagen can do. Yeah, he's going second now, 2:17.725. As Roy Costin also goes quickest. Is he going to quickest? Yes, he does. A new pole time, 2:17.513 as of now from Roy Costin. Good lap time, which means that Guy Schubert now has to push. Schubert was in his out lap and is now getting ready for his qualifying lap. Let's go on board with him. On his way to a Rouge. Then the Radion. Here's where you notice the compression in the car. And then he has to do the Gamble Straight. No slipstream, no help here. The gap between the drivers, it's 86 thousandths of a second. Not much time left. Also got to manage the traffic. Guy Schubert. He goes a little bit wide there. And he knows it, he knows it. He might be able to help out Nico Schiffer now. Schiffer also went a little bit wide there. Now let's see what's going to happen now. At least some slipstream helps is giving him away here. Stievelhagen goes third now. And let's see what Schiffer can do. It was green, but then yellow, yellow. Is there an improvement for Nico Schiffer? The last sector was green. And there is some improvement. But not in position as of yet. Let's see what Guy Schubert can do now. He's going to have some slipstream now from Nico Schiffer. As we are on board now with Schiffer. An amazing lap time from Roy Costin, 2:17.513. Let's see what the championship leader can do. Don't forget, there is a bonus point for the qualification. And also a bonus point for the fastest lap in race 1. And also a bonus point for race 2, of course, when you have a fastest lap. Let's see. Kai Schubert, it's still yellow. It's all yellow, yellow. And he's going to set up another time. He's going to try it again. And what might be his last time that he can try again for pole position. Same can be said from Roy Castine, who also just went over the finish line. And let's see what Kai Schubert can do. Daan van Zutphen, green and yellow. Green in sector 1. 2 times yellow for sector 2 and sector 3. Sector 4 is going to be green, yellow. What's going to be? He is improving in 2:17.997. Daan van Zutphen goes to P6. Oh, big trouble there for Yuri Verswijveren. A big off there. Already had some damage. We can see it. And that's one big damage Porsche. What happened there? And oh no! Oh no, 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 no. That was a hit with Nico Schiffer. That was a hit with Nico Schiffer. My goodness, that was a 21 of, let's see who that was. That was Las Daters. And that's why Yuri Verswijveren had the damage. But let's go back to qualifying now. Let's go back to Kai Schubert. 60. No, sorry, 86 thousandths of a second. That's the gap. That's a gap that Schubert has to improve. But we see it's yellow, yellow, and all yellow. Same can also be said from Nico Schiffer. That could be logical because he might have some damage in the contact with Yuri Verswijveren. We see no green sector times as of now, and indeed Schubert goes in. Where is Stieflagen? Stieflagen is now third. Is he going to take second? The answer to that question is going to be a no, I don't think so. Indeed. Ragustin also doesn't improve. Some improvements from Remco Kooi and also Daan van Zutphen. Green is sector 3. Let's see what Daan van Zutphen can do. Don't forget, when the clock hits 20 minutes, it means the qualifying is over. No finishing your qualifying lap. Daan van Zutphen can improve. Yes, he can improve. P5 for Daan van Zutphen. Where's Remco Kooi? There's Remco Kooi. I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think he's going to make it. 10 seconds. 9. You can do the countdown as well. In the top left corner. I don't think he's going to make it, Remco Kooi. Unfortunately for him, there is the 20 minutes. And there is the fact that the server will go to racing for race number 1. Which also means we can now officially, of course, say what the qualifying end results is. Because that's also going to be the starting grid for race number 2. Let's we'll wait for the first drivers to appear. There they are. And for us, it also means we can go back. Because we can go now for an official starting grid. There we go. It's Roy Castine on pole position for Kai Schubert on the second position. P3 is for Lucas Stievelhagen. And behind him it's Nico Schiffer on P4. Fifth position is for Daan van Zutphen. And the sixth position for Tavera Winter. And on P7 it's Eddie Kalis. And the eighth position is for Robert Hoorn. Las Datas, we find Datas in 9th position and La Sol in 10th position. Then the Roel van der Zand in 11th and Armin Wagemakers in 12th. Then we continue with P13 for Alex Huizinga and the 14th position is for Nick de Show. Then we go continuing to P15 for Bas Knotter and P16 for Remco Kooi. P17 for Juri Verswijveren and the 18th position for Ewout van Kruisen. Then P19 for Valim Ifra and P20 for Kim de Korte. 21 Tymon Heino and 22 is Jamie Terkula. Then on P23 is Ross Young and of course 24th position should be for me, but I'm not going to drive. That does mean that the starting will be a little bit late because the game has to wait for everybody on the starting grid, and I'm not going to be of course on the starting grid. For next Thursday, the race will, the session will be allowed for at least for me to join as spectator. Let's see what's going to happen, but that does mean that the race will be a little bit delayed before we can go. I believe it was 2 minutes waiting time. There we go indeed. Everybody's on the starting grid. And we are getting ready as the pace car, the BMW pace car actually. I never saw a BMW pace car in iRacing. That's something new. As we are getting ready for race number 1 here at Spa-Francorchamps. Again, it's waiting for the lights to be on. When they are on, that means you can go. And because it's Spa-Francorchamps, we're not going to do a whole lap of warming up. Just the last couple of corners to go. As we're getting ready for the start-finish straight. For what is going to be the finale of the Porsche GT3 Challenge as we are on the way. And it's a great start from Roy Castine, and Steve Hagen immediately gets attacked by Nico Schiffer. As it's now the waiting game. Do we have some issues? Looks like everybody is making it unscathed. Oh no, it's not. We got some issues in the back, and it's I think it's the 32, which means it's from Kim de Korte. And oh no, they both lose their rear wings, unfortunately. Which means it's going to be a trip through the pit lane. Let's focus on Nico Schiffer. Schiffer who's on the attack now. On the attack of Lucas Stiefelhagen. Schiffer on the inside. Also Schubert in the defending. And look at the back, look at the back. That's a big fight with Nick de Show. Lovely jubbly to see, at least. Let's go back to the front with Lucas Stiefelhagen, who managed to shake it off. As we got some issues from Roel van der Zand. No big damage, so that's a good thing. Van der Zand fell back to P21. Here we are back at the front. Roy Castine still on P1. Kai Schubert P2 and Lucas Stiefelhagen. That's P3. Behind him is Schiffer and Daan van Zutphen on the 5th position. But we can see it's a small gap between Schiffer and van Zutphen. Yes. Oh, we got some damage, and that's Valim Ifra. What happened with Ifra? Of course, he really lost his rear wing. And that's what happens when you don't have a rear wing and you fully commit to a corner. That's why you lose. As we're on board now with Nico Schiffer. on the way to Eau Rouge. Skip the quarter, now it's entered the pit lane for damage repair. It's going to be a long damage repair if you have to fix the rear wing. And also Philippe Infra has entered the pit lane. Kai Schubert has managed to close the gap between him and Roy Castine. Let's see what's going to happen, because Schubert doesn't have the luxury to go full on the attack, because Steve Hagen is very close on his back of the car. And we also see the black car of Nico Schiffer, the Porsche. Which of course they're all Porsches. Which is also going to be the case for next season, as I said. Only then we're going to drive with a different specification of the Porsche 911, the 992. Then it's going to be the Cup car. Let's see if Steve Hagen can go on the attack, fully on the attack. Not right as of now. Here we go, Kai Schubert now. Is he going to the attack of Roy Castine against Roy Castine? No, that's not going to be the case as of yet. Oh, Roy Castine! He outbraked himself, and now Schubert is on the attack. There we go. Is Castine going to lose his position? Yes, he is going to lose his position. And we got a new leader of this race, and it's Guy Schubert right now. Castine still on the attack with Steve Hagen. Steve Hagen almost managed to get P2, and they're side by side through Eau Rouge. Are they going to be issued? Oh, that's a bump there in the Eau Rouge and on top of Radion. None of the drivers who are giving up. None of the drivers giving up, and we go 3 wide. We go 3 wide now. On Camel Straight, my goodness. Also, Daan van Zutphen is going to be there. Daan van Zutphen going to P3. There he is. Van Zutphen to P3. Amazing job here from Daan van Zutphen. What an amazing overtake. Let's see if we can see that back in the replay. This is how Daan van Zutphen saw it. Here we go again. Look at that. Look at that. Amazing job here from Daan van Zutphen. I also think both drivers got to slow down. Still. Great job there from Daan van Zutphen. It's the 20 who's going a little bit wide. That's Eddie Carles. Oh, Biggie luckily just going through the gravel trap and managed to make it unhurt. And still continuing. So as of right now, it's Kai Schubert on P1, Nico Schiffer on the second position, Daan van Zutphen P3. Then it's Roy Castine and Lucas Stievenhagen on the 4th and 5th position. And behind them, it's a group again with Eddie Carles, Robert van Hoorn, Tavera Winter, Lassol. That's the group that's behind there. Also a group forming behind them with Bas Knotter, Remco Kooi, Juri Verswijveren and Jamie Takula. But let's see what Daan van Zutphen can do, because he's got a good run. As we're on board now with Daan van Zutphen. And we hear from Zutphen lift. They're going to the attack now. Yes, we got some issues there, and that's Arwin Wagenmakers. In the Tobacco sponsored car. Some issues with Wagenmakers. Let's see what happened there. Here we're on board with Wagenmakers. It's a 36. That's the car of, I think it was the show indeed. Oh, they do collide with each other. And that's why Wagenmakers went the wrong way. Still managed to come back now in P17. Back with Daan van Zutphen. For Van Zutphen, 13th in the championship, of course missed round 1 at the Red Bull Ring. Came back at Zandvoort. Race 1 scored 39 points, race 2 27 points. Of course won at Laguna Seca. Did a good job there. And at Daytona scored 24 points. Excuse me, 42 points. As we have Eddie Carles with Robert van Hoorn fighting with each other for the 6th position. Yes, Robert van Hoorn now takes P6 from Eddie Carles, but Carles still on the outside, and now has to wait. Behind him it was Lassol who tried to have a look. Could manage to make it stick as of now. Yes, we are back at the front of the pack. Kai Schubert still P1, Nico Schiffer P2 and Daan van Zutphen P3. And behind them it's Eddie Carles who's also in the fight again for the 6th position on the outside. Is he going to try it on the outside? It's going to be the inside now. Watch out for the 7th of Lassol. Managed to get the car sticked in. Oh, that's the 38. And that's the car of Winter. Winter on the inside now and does make it stick. They do tap with each other. 21 of Datus also managed to get the car next to the car of Lassol. Oh, as Winter goes a little bit wide. And we go 3 wide now into the next corner. Somebody always has to give up there. Oh my goodness, they're not going to do that. On the outside, it's Winter. Sol on the inside. They going to make it stick there. Yes, they do going to make it stick. Great job to see. As they bump to each other again. And somebody has to give it up now. And that's Winter going sideways and into the tire barriers. No. But Tafero Winter does have damage to the car. He's now fighting with Bas Knotter for P13, P14. As we go back to the front of the pack, because it's going to be Roy Castine now, who's quite quick actually in the last lap. And Roy Castine is a man on a mission. He wants to win this race. Starting from pole, you only have one mission, that's to win the race, not to fall back to P4. We saw what happened between him and Steve Hagen. And now it's Castine who wants to go fully in the attack. Here we are on board with Roy Castine. As Jeroen Verswijveren enters the pit lane. That gap is a little bit too big. Little moment there for Daan van Zutphen. We saw the rear of the car snapping away a little bit. Which means Roy Castine has closed the gap now. Yeah, he did have a look-see there, but could manage to stick his Porsche on the inside. As we see in the front that Nico Schiffer is also slowly closing the gap between him and Kai Schubert. As we're driving on board now with Nico Schiffer. Staying in the slipstream now. In the slipstream of Kai Schubert. Nico Schiffer is he going to do the attack in the bus stop chicane? Or is he going to wait? He's going to wait. You can clearly hear he was going to wait. But look in the mirror. You see the orange car of Daan van Zutphen. Behind him it's the blue car of Roy Castien. Yes, there are some issues for Valim Ifra. And also Abel Verkruisen is going to the pit lane. Here we have Ifra. He's losing rear of the car. I think, no, he's just going to go back to the pit lane, unfortunately for him. Yes, we are back now, live with Nico Schiffer. Multiple cars are now in the pit lane. As I see some drops of rain. Yes, we do. We do have some drops of rain on the track. And the windscreen wipers also go from left to right, which means we do have rain right now. That's why everybody goes to the pit lane. We have rain, we have spray. And this is going to change the race completely now. On board with Daan van Zutphen. We can clearly see the windshield wiper doing its work. When are you going to the pit lane? That's why people are going to the pit lane. The rain has officially hit the track. I said it was cloudy. It might rain. Well, you can scratch the might rain because it does rain now. And there goes Daan van Zutphen. There comes Daan van Zutphen. As we can clearly see now the spray coming at the back of the cars. As long as there is some temperature in the tires, you might be okay. When those temperatures drop, that's why you're going to have some big issues. And oh, Roy Castien, is he going to the pit lane? Roy Castien, yes he is. From the people who are in the front, it's Roy Castien who's going to the pit lane now to switch the tires. And here we can see how the situation is with the tire compounds. This is what I wanted to see. You know, tire compounds don't work, of course. But we can say the rain has officially fallen now. And these drivers are still on the slicks. Oh, big moment there from Daan van Zutphen. Almost lost the car. And where is Roy Castien? There is Roy Castien. Driving on the wets now. Same thing has to happen now from Kai Schubert. who I believe will go into the pit lane now in the end of this lap. Here we have Spa-Francorchamps and Schiffer. As we are on board now with Spa-Francorchamps. Spa-Francorchamps on the inside now. Spa-Francorchamps on the inside. He's not going to make it stick. And they're all going to continue. That's an interesting thing to see. Here we can see the lap times. 2:26 for Schubert, 2:28 from Zutphen. 27 for Spa-Francorchamps. Spa-Francorchamps on the inside. And he's going to make it stick now. As we have some issues here from Remco and Kooi. What happened with Kooi? Did he lose the car? Oh, he did. He lose the car. Remco and Kooi, bang, into the barriers. That's why we saw the damage there. Let's see this lap time, what Roy Castine can do against Kai Schubert. As the gap between them is right now 41 seconds. Spa-Francorchamps on the inside. Spa-Francorchamps on the inside of Nico Schiffer. Nah, he still has to wait now. As we're on board with Schiffer. Still raining. Oh, now he's going to try it on the outside. Watch out, you don't brake too late. He does not. And Schiffer, I think he's going to let him by. No, he's not. He's not. And so we have two fights at one. One fight to keep the car on the track. Second fight between Spa-Francorchamps and Schiffer on track. As I get notifications left and right of people who are actually off track. But also make a safe rejoin. And again, nobody who's going to the pit lane. What's the lap time going to be? Yes. Oh, we got another major crash here from Robert van Hoorn. And that's big damage to the Porsche of Van Hoorn. Let's see what happened there. Oh, it's a take slapper and a major crash there into the tire barriers. And that's the end of race 1 from Robert van Hoorn. So, lap time of Kai Schubert, a 2:31.5. Lap time of Roy Castine. Here he is, Roy Castine. That is a, let's see, a 2:31.1. So it's just 4/10 of a second that Roy Castine managed to actually getting the gaps closer between him and Kai Schubert. Which means, oh, no, Spa-Francorchamps. It's a 360 for him. Falls back to a 5th position. Yes. Oh no, David Zutphen. Oh no, he hits Spa-Francorchamps. And left to right. And oh no, also Eddie Carles. It's mayhem here at Spa-Francorchamps. The weather has completely turned this race around. And now it's all about managing and surviving this track. Where is Schubert? Ah, Schubert also goes off! This is the moment. Now you have to switch. Now you have to switch to the wets. And there's one driver who's laughing at us right now. That's Roy Castine. Also Lassol. Everybody now on the slicks has a hard time on the track. As more and more drivers are more off track actually than on the track. Also wagenmakers going off track. Here we see it again from Kai Schubert braking, yeah, you would say braking late. Schubert is lucky here actually. As left and right people are going off track. And this is the moment. No, Schubert is going to continue actually. Schubert is going to continue. Do they know more than that we know? That's Kim de Korte. Kim de Korte with major damage on the car actually. Here we see it again. Korte, who is also driving on slicks, on the dry tires. Yeah, that's what happens. And that's quite a hard knock actually for the car. As we have more and more drivers coming into the pit lane to switch to the wet tires. Where's Roy Castine? There's Roy Castine. Here we see him. Behind him is Lucas Stiefelhagen. But Stiefelhagen... Oh, there he loses it. Stiefelhagen loses it. And that's a major hit for Lucas Stiefelhagen. Big damage on the car now. And also big problems there for Stiefelhagen. It's so slippery here. David Zutphen. Actually, something happens with Kai Schubert, because Schubert is now back on P2. And look how slippery it is. And now you really have to take it easy. Oh, that's Nico Schiffer and also David Zutphen who spins behind him. Nico Schiffer who has to make a 360. And there's Roy Castine. And Roy Castine, as I said, he's going to laugh. A couple of laps ago, he went into the pit lane, switched to wets. And lap times are now at 2:37, and everybody behind him, also in front of him, 2:49. And there it is, Roy Castine. Roy Castine who's going to take the lead. Roy Castine is going to take the lead because he's driving on the wet tires. Ah, David Zutphen lost it again. And this is the moment now you need to go into the pit lane. Also Nick de Schouw with big damage on his Porsche. So many people now who are more off track than on track. And look how slippery it is. Look how tricky it is. Oh, there goes Alex Huizinga. Yes, we do have the checkered flag now. There it is, the checkered flag. And there he comes. Roy Castine in the last lap. He's going to make a stick. Great move there from Roy Castine, who wins the race. And where's Lars Deters? There's Lars Deters, also driving on the wets. Actually passes Nico Schiffer. As Kai Schubert goes second. There he is. And here we have Lars Deters on the third position and back on the podium. Great job from Lars Deters. As we still have some left and right fights as David Zutphen goes into the pit lane. Something happened with him again. Big damage for him. As also Tafera Winter is on the wrong side of the track. It was very, very slippery. And the grass is also slippery, I could quite imagine. As we see some bent up Porsches coming now. Oh, that's a hit. Oh, no, 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 no. That was a hit with Armin Wagenmakers. Oh. Yeah, here we see when you have a car without any tire temperatures. And is Remco Kooi going to make it? The answer is no. So we have to wait for one Porsche. That's the Porsche number 7 of La Sol, who also now managed to go over the start-finish line. As we have all the drivers now. Which also means we can have... Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Sorry about that. The results, of course, of this first race. Here they are. Roy Castine managed to win the race in the last lap because he was on the wets. Then it's Kai Schubert on 2nd position, and behind him it's Lars Deters on P3. P4 it's Nico Schiffer, and the 5th position for Roel van der Zandt. Then Ewout van Kruijs on 6th and Eddie Kallets on P7. Bas Knotte, we find him on 8th position, and Juri Verswijver on P9. Then we have P10 for Jamie Tekule and P11 for Tijmen Heino. 12th position, for Alex Huizinga and P13 for Ross Young. Then we have Daan van Zutphen on P14 and the 15th position is for Lucas Stievelhagen. P16 for Remco Kooi and the 17th position is for La Sol and Nick de Show on P18. Then we go to P19 and it's Tafera Winter for Armin Wagenmakers, Kim de Korte 21 and Robert van Hoorn P22 and Vlim Ifra on 23rd position. We're getting ready back at the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps, and we see it here. It's raining heavily. It's completely flipped the race with a great job from Roy Castine. So as of now, we have a 5-minute warming up before we get ready for race number 2. This is now the moment that the drivers are going to get familiar with a wet Spa-Francorchamps, to drive with the wet tires, to see where your new braking points are. Of course, this is also the moment where you find out you might have to ease off the throttle a little bit. And I think it's going to be one hell of an exciting race here for the finale, round number 5. As it stands right now in the championship standing, it's Schiffer still on P1, Schubert P3, P2 and Roy Castine on the 3rd position of the championship standings. As we are getting ready for the last race of this Porsche GT3 challenge. As I said, we're going to say goodbye to this Porsche GT3 because we're going to drive with the Porsche Cup car with the calendar of the Porsche Mobile One Super Cup powered by NXTGP. With a max of 40 seats available, so let's see if we can make it a grid of 40 cars. And the race days match the same week of the official Porsche Super Cup. So that brings us with a calendar that's going to start on the May of 13th at Imola. And after that, the 27th of May, we're going to drive at Barcelona. Then we have the 24th of June at the Red Bull Ring and the 22nd of July at Spa-Francorchamps. Then the 29th of July, it's going to be the Hungaroring at Hungary and the finale at the 26th of August at Zandvoort. But now we have to crown, of course, a champion. One more race to go at this Porsche 911 GT3 R. Let's see who's going to take the last win here with this car. As we can see, it's very, very wet here at Spa-Francorchamps. Here we see how it is right now on the circuit. As I said before, it's very, very wet. As we are here with Kai Schubert. Just under a minute to go before we can go for race number 2. As we go on board now with Kai Schubert. And this is how the track conditions are as of now. Yeah, Blanchimont isn't it's not full throttle anymore. And now you have to watch out for the puddles left and right on the track, because yeah, that's how realistic iRacing is. You can't drive into puddles, because then you will have the aquaplaning. You will lose the car. As we're getting ready for race number 2 here at Spa-Francorchamps, as we're getting ready for the grid as well. And let's see how the drivers are going to start with the official starting grid. And here is the starting grid. It's going to be Jamie Takula on pole position with Yuri Verswijveren next to him on the 2nd position. P3 for Bas Knotter and the 4th position is for Eddie Kalis. Then we have P5 for Ewout van Kruisen and the 6th position we find Roel van der Zand. 7th position is for Nico Schiffer and P8 Las Deters. On the 9th position it's Kai Schubert and P10 it's Roy Castien. Then on the 11th position it's Tijmen Heino and Alex Huisga on P12. 13th position for Ross Young and Daan van Zutphen on P14. Then we have Lucas Stievenhagen on P15 and Remco Kooi on P16. P17 for Las Sol and P18 for Nick de Shaw. Then on P19 we have Tavera Winter and P20 Arwin Wagemakers. Then on P21 it's Kim de Korte and P22 Robert Hoorn. And then we have Robert van Hoorn, excuse me. And on P23 it's Falim Ifra, who's going to start as last. As everybody is getting ready, it's still raining. And I'm going to do something that's not quite realistic, but I want to see what the weather is going to be like. And this is how it's going to be indeed. As Alex Huizinga is in the pit lane. And all the windscreen wipers still working. It's raining quite heavily. We can see that on the track. It's quite wet now. You could say it's monsoon weather. Let's see if we don't have the problems that we had in '98 at the Formula 1 at the Grand Prix of Belgium. We are getting ready and we are go for the finale of the Porsche Challenge, the GT3 Challenge. As we are making our way into the first corner. No big issues here. It's Eddie Kalis and Roel van der Zand who are touching each other. Well, I meant the cars, of course. As also Bas Knotter is there. And look at the spray. Look at the spray as we go into Eau Rouge. You have to be so careful here in Eau Rouge. As we have some issues for Alex Huizinga in the end, at the exit of pit lane. Good thing to say, everybody made it out. Okay, that's a good thing to know. Here we have Yuri Verswijveren. Verswijveren takes the P1 from Jamie Takula. Indeed, it's Yuri Verswijveren now on P1. As everybody makes it also here without any big issues. And that's a good news. Roy Castien actually went a little bit off track. Still managed to continue. And Daan van Zutphen actually who's getting a great start. Van Zutphen all the way up to P7 now in fight with Roy Castien. And I can tell you, everybody is of course on the wets. As Remco Kooi goes a little bit wide there. Ooh, a major moment there for La Sol. And oh, somebody goes off there. That's Daan van Zutphen. And also his teammate, actually. That was, I think, Ewart van Kruisen, I think. A lot of fight here right now. A lot of switching for positions. Because we've got there also 2 cars. It's Eddie Carles. Yes, it's Eddie Carles. And who's then in front? That's Armin Wagemakers, who also lost track position. No big issues. Everybody's still in competition, except from Alex Huizinga, actually. Oh, that's the 21. That's the 21 of Las Datas, who's going wide. And also Nick de Schouw is going wide. It's tricky out there. Very tricky out there. As we also see a fight between Nico Schiffer and Daan van Zutphen. No, excuse me, it's Schiffer and Stiefelhagen who are in fight here with each other. As everybody, well, almost everybody now, is on their way to start finish and survive the first lap. Roel van der Zand in fight with his teammate of Schijfvlak Racing, Juri Verswijveren. And here we see how much spray there is actually. Van der Zand on the outside, on the outside. Oh, it's in the gravel trap. Look at all the gravel that's been brought up. And look who's behind them. Oh, Van der Zand on the wet side. Don't go on the painted part of the track. Yes, we are now on board with Roel van der Zand. In front of us, it's Juri Verswijveren. Verswijveren, who is 33rd in the championship right now. And one DQ, disqualified for the first race at Laguna Seca. We had a couple of, well, actually almost a month ago now. Oh, Juri Verswijveren loses the car! No, Juri Verswijveren loses the car! Is he stuck? No, he has to wait now. He has to wait. And everybody... Oh my goodness. Almost hit there. I think that was with Tefera Winter. And is back now at 16th position. Such a shame for Juri Verswijveren. Here we see it again. As we have a fight here with Schiffer and Daan van Zutphen. Van Zutphen is looking, but can't manage to make the move stick. And now it's a watch out for the 32. Oh, the 32, that's Kim de Korte and Daan van Zutphen now in fight with each other. La Sol says, yeah, thank you very much for your fight. I'm going to take your positions. That's Van Zutphen has to wait now. So wait for a better exit. Here we see La Sol slippering and sliding. As we go through a Rouge. Oh, Kim de Korte loses it and a major crash there for Kim de Korte. Big crash, and don't go on a Rouge. Don't go on a Rouge when you don't have the speed. The car is badly damaged. That's what we can see. Big damage there for Kim de Korte, who got a bump. Here we see it again. In the replay, that was from La Sol, I think. Yeah, de Korte steers in and the car of Sol is there. Major crash. Major crash. As was Knotter now on the inside. No, that's Stieflagen actually on the inside of Knotter. And they also touch. A little bit of bump and run. No issues there whatsoever. Here we have Alex Huizinga in the car 23. Who loses the back, and oh no, that's a big big crash. Sorry for Huizinga, big hit I want to say. Combine those, you get hash, I guess. As we go back to the fight between Stieflagen and Knotter. Stieflagen now on the inside. Next corner goes to the right, which means Knotter will have the advantage. As we are now on board with Lucas Stieflagen. Skip the car still in the pit lane. And this is what you see as a driver. Not much, I can tell you. Car sliding all over the place. And you have to take the long game now. You have to wait. You have to play the long game. There is some time left, so that's a good thing. As Roy Castien slowly but steady closes the gap with his teammate Roel van der Zand. Right now it's a Schijfvlak Racing 1, 2, 3. Roel van der Zand on P1, Roy Castien P2 and Ewout van Kruisen on the third position. Oh, that Schiffer going wide. And that's not the only one going wide, because that was in front. La Sol, who also went wide. You can barely make any car out of this spray. Luckily we have some headlights we can use as reference. It's the seventh position of Damen Zuften, then Nico Schiffer now next to La Sol. Sol now on the outside, Sol losing the car, hits Schiffer there. Sol still on the inside. And now La Sol has to give up. As the 38 of Winter also is going to take on the fight with La Sol. And the Winter, Tafera Winter, actually managed to get P9. So our Wagenmakers goes a little bit wide, also has some damage to the back of his Porsche. As we have a fight here on our hands. Between Yuri Verswijveren and Robert van Hoorn. Actually lost Stieflagen there for a moment. That's what I was looking for. I saw Stieflagen falling back. Did he brake too late? Yeah, he braked way too late. Way too late. Oh, he's not the only one actually goes off track. Stieflagen has to manage to get it to the grass and does it on the right way. Yeah. Yeah, Stieflagen, excuse me, now fighting with Tafera Winter. Stieflagen on the outside. And we also had some issues for our Wagenmakers who put the car back into the pit lane. Yeah, here we have Nico Schiffer right now on 7th position. Of course, our championship leader, Kai Schubert, on 2nd position is in the race before, and Roy Castien 3rd in the championship. Right now on the 2nd position. And I wonder if there's going to be a team order between Roy Castine and Roel van der Zand. Oh, Roy Castine went off track. Also, his teammate went off track. They both found an alternative line there. As we have Tavera Winter in the pit lane. Also, Edekal is still in the pit lane. And two drivers who are out of this race. Arjen Wagemakers and Alex Huizinga. And also Flim Infra is going into the pit lane as of now. Here we have Nick de Schouw in his fight with Tijmen Heino. Actually, de Schouw who managed to pass Tijmen Heino. Great job from him. And here we are on board with Nico Schiffer. Car front is the car of Stiefelhagen, excuse me. Now fully in the slipstream. Overtaking now is a little bit harder. Now it's wet. As Roy Castine and Roel van der Zand are next to each other. And there we have a new race leader. His name is Roy Castine. And that's good news for his championship aspirations. Also fight here between Tijmen Heino and Las Daters. Daters is going on the outside. He's going to make it on the outside. Great move there from Las Daters. Great move there from Las Daters. As he managed to take P14 now. Just a little bit under 10 minutes remaining at this race, the finale of the GT3 challenge. As Roel van der Zand is trying to close the gap again with his teammate Roy Castine. On board here with Roel van der Zand. It looks like the sun is starting to shine a little bit. Yes. Oh, that's Nico Schiffer! The championship leader! With La Sol, I think. Let's see what happened there. The championship leader. There he is with number 5. I think La Sol spun. Yes, indeed. And no! Oh, that's a big tap there! And some major damage for Nico Schiffer. Is he going to lose the championship here? There we see no front bumper anymore on this Porsche. Steering wheel does seem straight. That's a good thing to know. But it's not going to help the car. Look at the understeer he's going to have now. And he has to survive. That's the best thing he can do. And that's all about to survive. Gap between Roy Castine and Roel van der Zand is now 1.3 seconds. As we are on board now, driving with Yuri Verzwijveren. Look at the understeering there of the car of Nico Schiffer. As Daan van Zutphen chooses the alternative racing line. And Lassol right now in the pit lane. Here we have Nico Schiffer back to P9. Oh, Robert van Hoorn on the inside there of Remco Kooi. That was very close indeed. Is he going to try it here again? No. Here we're on board again with Robert van Hoorn. On the inside, no, because there's a puddle there. That was very close, and Yuri Verzwijveren, we see the fight here between him and Nico Schiffer. Schiffer, watch out, you do have understeer to the car. Oh, he does hit Yuri Verzwijveren. And Verzwijveren has to try it all over again. Here we see Robert van Hoorn and Remco Kooi. Kooi has to wait. Verzwijveren on the inside also has to wait now, but can he manage to make a stick into the bus stop chicane? There he goes on the inside, and it's Yuri Verzwijveren who gets a tap actually from Nico Schiffer. Well, Verzwijveren now to P9. Schiffer on the inside of Verzwijveren. And he managed to take the position back. And here we see the understeering again from Nico Schiffer. As Daan van Zutphen managed to pass Kai Schubert. Here we see Verzwijveren again on the inside, having a look on the inside. Oh, a little moment there from Lucas Stiefelhagen. And he's going straight ahead. Don't hit anything, don't hit anything. Very good, very good. It looks like the rain is slowly but steady easing off. But we don't have that much time anymore. As somehow Nico Schiffer again managed to pass Yuri Verzwijveren. Did something happen here? Let's watch it again in the replay, because I thought Yuri Verzwijveren was in front. I thought he was going for the overtake here. Oh, he outbraked himself. That's what happened. That's why. As we're a fight here between Bas Knotter and Robert van Hoorn. Where is Robert van Hoorn going to try? Into the last corner. The bus-stop chicane on the inside. He's going to try it on the inside. He did have a look. But thought, nah, maybe not the best place to do it. So as it stands, the top 5 is Roy Castien, then Roel van der Zand, followed by Ewout van Kruisen, Daan van Zutphen and Kai Schubert on the 5th position. Then we have here a fight for P6 between Bas Knotter and Robert van Hoorn. Van Hoorn's trying on the inside now. Very close, very close, very close, almost too close. Don't hit each other, don't hit each other. Oh my goodness, that was so close. Great job from both drivers. Now it's Robert van Hoorn on the outside. He's going back on the inside now. Now he has to outbrake, but don't outbrake yourself. Robert van Hoorn on the inside. And they wait. Remco Kooi is going straight on. Also finding the alternative route. As we see in the last lap, I think something happened actually with Roy Castien. Losing some pace, his teammate Roel van der Zand has managed to close the gap now. And is Roel van der Zand going to make the overtake? Good exit from Roel van der Zand. Van der Zand back on the inside. Roel van der Zand back on the inside. On his teammate Roy Castien. Don't crash each other out. That's going to be the golden rule. Don't hit your teammate. As they're making their way to Blanchimont, and it's Roel van der Zand who managed to get the position back. Oh, they do hit each other. Oh my goodness. Roy Castien back on the inside. And managed to get P1 back with some damage to both cars. As they go into the start-finish straight now. For what's going to be the final lap. Between Roel van der Zand and Roy Castien. Van der Zand now on the outside. And we've got a pit stop from Nick de Schouw. But this is going to be a very exciting battle. Ooh, Roel van der Zand had some issues there. And Roy Castien managed to get a gap. Look, 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 look. Gap 1.1, 1.2. Schiffer and Van Zwijveren are still fighting with each other. One Porsche, relatively okay. The other one, the car of Nico Schiffer, absolutely not okay, if you look to the front. Van Zwijveren now braking late. Oh, that's another hit. That's a tap. That's another tap. That's another tap. Keep it clean, guys. Keep it clean, guys. It's still waiting also for P3. That's an exciting battle. That's Daan van Zutphen, who's going wide. Let's go back to the fight. Into Eau Rouge. Do we see 3 Porsches? Do we see 3 Porsches? Yeah, we do see 3 Porsches. Stiefelhagen managed to pass now Nico Schiffer. But Schiffer, also Van Zwijveren now on the outside of Schiffer actually. Oh, Van Zwijveren outbrakes himself, and does he hit? Yes, he does! Oh my goodness! Van Zwijveren, what are you doing, mate? That was Stiefelhagen who he hit. Somehow Stiefelhagen managed to continue, and Van Zwijveren back to P12. Let's go back to the front, because there are only a couple of corners to go. Roy Castine on his way to Blanchimont. And then he only has to do the bus stop. Oh! Roel van der Zand, it's very close. It's also close for P3, but let's focus here on the fight between P1 and P2. The finish flag is out officially. And there he goes. Good exit. And indeed a good exit. Roy Castine wins race number 3. And behind him it's still a fight between David Zutphen and Ewout van Kruisen. And it's Van Zutphen, looks like, who's going to get P3. Yes, he does indeed. Let's see what happened between them, because there was indeed. This is what happens. He gave the position back, but here is what happens. Oh, it was Van Zutphen who actually got a great exit, and it was Ewout van Kruisen who had the issue with some major oversteer. And we still have to wait for Kim de Korte, who also is 1 lap down. Which means, yeah, we still have to wait for Jamie Tekula, the last car who has to pass the finish line. But of course I have to wait for the what still is going to be actually unofficial results, of course, because there still can be protests, which can also change the outcome of the championship. So let's say it's the unofficial championship results. As we wait here for Jamie Tekula. Who's now over the finish line. No, actually, Kim de Korte is still on the lead lap, so we have to wait for Kim de Korte to officially to go over the finish line. Just a couple more corners to go for Kim de Korte. And there goes de Korte. Start finish. And now Kim de Korte also has officially finished her race. Which means we can go to the results of the second race here of today. And here it is. Roy Castine wins race number 2. Roel van der Zand became second and Daan van Zutphen takes the last step of the podium. Then we go to P4 for Ewout van Kruisen and Kai Schubert on the 5th position. P6 for Robert van Hoorn and P7 for Remco Kooi. Then Bas Knotter on P8 and 9th position for Nico Schiffer. Then we go to P10 for Las Dieters and P11 for Juri Verswijveren. The 12th position for Lucas Stievelhagen and P13 for Jamie Terkoele. Then on the 14th position we have Kim de Korte, and then we go already to the guys who have the back markers or even did not finish, with Ross Young, Nick de Schouw, Tijmen Heino and Las Sol all on 15, 16, 17 and 18. And then we continue with P20 for Valim Ifra, Erik Alles on 24, on 21, 22nd for Armin Wagemakers and the 23rd of Alex Huizinga. And I have the results in now for the championship. As I said, these are the unofficial results because there can be changes made due to protests that might be held. But let's see what is going to be the results. And there we have. I can officially announce now that Nico Schiffer has become champion. And Schubert on P2 and Roy Castine on the 3rd position in the championship standings. So a massive, massive congratulations to Nico Schiffer for winning the championship in what was an amazing season with these cars. And yeah, I'm actually going to miss the GT3 cars, but trust me, if you want close racing, bumper to bumper racing, you definitely want to have the Porsche Cup cars. And that's what we're going to have for next season. And as I said before, next season will start. Let's see when it will start. It was May the 13th, if I'm wrong. Yes, indeed, it will be May the 13th at Imola. That's when we will be back with the Porsche Super Cup by NXTGP. From here, from Spa-Francorchamps, I want to thank you all for watching. See you next time here at NXTGP.